Akshaya Tritiya is the day you're supposed to buy gold and wear gold. It's actually the day you're supposed to donate gold or anything. So Akshaya Tritiya gives us the chance to consider about in Hindu Dharma, what is the philosophy of Dhan? Why is charity important? What is the importance of it? How is it supposed to be done? What is the benefit of it? So let us start with something that's told in Brihadaranyaka that one time Brahma's 3 children, he has 3 types of children. Devtas, the residents of Swarg, Manav, us, the human beings, and Danav, the what we would call demons. 3 types of kids he has. Satvik, Devta, Rajas, Manushya, and Tamas, the Danav. So 3 representatives went to Brahmaji, who is like our great grandfather. He's the original progenitor of all living beings. So they decided we should get some instructions from him, how to live our life, how to improve ourselves. So the Devta representative, human representative, and demon representative, they all went to Brahmaji. And Brahmaji gave a very short lecture. He said, da, da, da. And that was it. So each came back and went to their respective gurus and said, Devtas went to Brihaspati and said, we asked Brahmaji for some instructions and he told us da. So what did he mean? Can you do vyakhya of that? So he said, it means damyata. Damyata means dam. Dam means नहीं, दम माने इंद्रियों पर controls करना सीखो. Learn to control your senses. You devtas live in Swarg. You have big enjoyments over there, millions of times greater than the enjoyments of earth. तुम लोग बिल्कुल विषयी बन गए हो. दम करना सीखो. Learn to control your senses. And Danavs, Daityas, they went to Shukracharya ji and said, what does Da mean? He said, it means Dayadhvam, Daya Sikho. Learn compassion, learn mercy. You're very cruel. You get happiness from giving suffering to other people. That's your nature. So learn compassion, learn generosity, learn mercy, learn kindness. And when the humans inquired, what did da mean for us? Because Brahma said da for each of them. One was, of course, damyata. One was dayadhvam. And for humans, it was datta. Dan karna sikho. Learn to give. Learn to be charitable. In Ramayana, it says, Prakat chari pad dharma ke Kali maha ek pradhan yen ken vidhi dine udan kare kalyan. That although there are 4 main four main parts to dharma, but in Kali Yuga, only one is primary. Others are not even possible. Like tap and vairagya, tyag means like renunciation, being very simple, being renounced from the world, being away from possessions. Who can live like that in Kali Yuga? None of us are qualified to live like that. Then big anushtan, vrat, all kinds of observances of Vedic rituals. Those are also not possible in Kali Yuga. Even satya, truthfulness. Who can do that in Kali Yuga? We tell many lies every hour. But dan that's priority number one in Kali Yuga. Dan we can still do, even in Kali Yuga. We can give charity. So Ramayana says in Kali Yuga, out of all the ways that you can follow dharma, giving charity is number one. And any which way you give charity, meaning for any reason, with whatever motivation, dana kare kalyan, you get the benefit. So what does that mean? Different motivations. Ved tells. Shraddhaya deyam, hriya deyam, bhiya deyam. Someone may give with full faith that I want to give to please Shri Krishna. These are all his children, all these living beings. So I want to give some charity to help others, knowing that that will please Shri Krishna. Shraddha deyam. So out of faith in God, someone wants to give. So they'll also get the benefit from that charity. Hriya deyam. Someone shames you into giving. Oh, you have so much and you don't give anything to help other people? What kind of life is that? You should give some charity. Okay, now I've been shamed, I give some charity. Hriya deyam, Ved says, fine, it's good. You'll also get benefit from giving charity in that way. Bhiya deyam, dar ke mare. Who gives out of fear, he'll also get the benefit. What fear? Let's say you heard Vedavyasji say, Yavat bhriyet jatharam tavat svatvam hi dehinam adhikam yo bhimanyet sasteno dandamarhati. Bhagavatam. We have a right to keep a certain amount of wealth for ourselves. Although Manusmriti, which also says, Danamekam kalau yuge, in Kali Yuga, dan, charity is the only means of following dharma. Same Manusmriti says we should give a minimum of 10% of our income in charity just as a baseline. Vedavyasji is saying that is not enough. He says, you want to know how much you have a right to hold on to? How much you need to support your body. Jathare, he says, just enough to fill your belly. Keep a roof over your head, some clothes on your back. That's how much you have a right to. He says, adhikam yo bhimanyeta. If somebody collects more of wealth and possessions, sasteno dandamarhati. He'll be treated as a thief. In God's eyes, in the eyes of the law of karma, that person is a thief. Because this is God's creation. Bhagwan has made this earth. It all belongs to him. We have taken his stuff and made a big house, collected some money for ourselves, collected some things for ourselves. All of that belongs to him. But see, there are other people on this earth who don't have enough, who don't even have 2 rotis to fill their belly. And we're keeping enough for much, much more than what we need and not spreading that around to others who are suffering. So we will be treated as a thief. We took that from God's earth and we kept it for ourselves. So there will be punishment. Somebody hears that. Bhiyadeyam. Oh, I don't want to get the punishment. Mahabharata also tells what is the punishment. Adatta dana cha bhavicha daridri bhavati. If we don't give dan, if we have wealth in this life and we don't give dan, we'll be born poor in our next life. Then bhavid daridra bhavat chakaroti papam. Papa prabhava narakam prayati. Punar daridri punareva papam. Mahabharata tells that if somebody has wealth in this life and they don't give charity, they'll be reborn as a very poor person in the next life. So poor that they can't get enough food to fill their belly. We have something in our belly, all of us. It's called Jatharagni. The fire that digests our food. बहुत भयंकर आग है. It's a very powerful fire. If someone goes hungry, if someone doesn't get food to feed that fire is so intense, it will make a person do bad deeds in order to fill their belly. We probably don't know that in this life. We haven't experienced that kind of hunger that would make us break laws in order to find food or fill our belly. But that fire is like that. If we don't get enough food, we'll be willing to do anything, any kind of pop. So becoming that poor that we have to do sinful actions to fill our belly, then what is the outcome of that? Papa prabhavan narakam prayati. Then we'll go to narak because of that, and we'll get the punishments of narak. Then punara daridra. Again we become born as a human when we're released from narak. But in what situation? Again we become daridri, we become very poor. And punareva papam, then again we do sins to fill our belly. So look at the cycle, the vicious cycle that we're caught in. How do we get out of that? It's very difficult. And how did it all start? We didn't give charity when we had the chance, when we had wealth. So someone may hear that and be scared. Bhiyadeyam. I don't want that kind of punishment, that going to narak and then becoming poor. Let me give charity. So even if someone gives out of fear, it's still okay. They're giving charity. It's good. So we understand on some level that, or in a general way, we understand that charity is expected of all human beings. Even a beggar can give charity. There's a story, a well-known story, that when Banaras Hindu University was going to be built and fundraising was going on, so one of the main personalities who was doing the fundraising, he was going actually to different people and even door to door. He was so humble, raising the funds for this. And he came across a beggar. And that beggar said, I also want to give something. And whatever he had received that day, in other words, everything he had, however many rupees he had in his begging bowl, he gave everything. And he said, you're giving everything? Keep something. What will you eat? He says, I'll eat tomorrow. You take this. This is important. So tears fell from his eyes. He said, now I know for sure that BHU will get built because you have given your everything. So Bhagwan doesn't look at the amount either. Just like that man's heart was touched because the beggar gave everything, even though it might have only been a few rupees. Bhagwan also looks at that. There's a billionaire who gives $10,000, and there's a beggar who has $10 in his cup and he gives $1. Who gave more? The beggar gave more. He gave 10% of his total wealth. That billionaire gave 0.001% of his total wealth. That's what Bhagwan looks at. So giving is something we have to learn. It's something we have to practice. It's very important and it's expected of us. God expects it of us. If we think, oh no, I'm just, I'm not harming anyone. I'm not a tamas person. I'm not getting pleasure by causing harm to others. I'm not stealing from anyone. Yeah, I'm not giving. I'm not making any sacrifices to help others. But, I just keep to myself, and whatever I earned it. It's mine. No, we also get punished for that behavior. Yeah, we're not tamas, but even the rajas is not meeting the expectations of a human being. These are basic expectations that we should be sacrificing to help others, not just in our own little insulated world. Whatever I got is what I got, let me enjoy it. Whatever's happening with the rest of you, that's your problem. This attitude is also punishable according to the laws of karma. So we at least have to become sattvic and make some personal sacrifices to help others. And that guilt should be there when we spend money unnecessarily, when we take extravagant vacations, when we buy things we don't need. That guilt should be there. That what am I doing with this? There are people in the world there are kids in this country who go to bed hungry. If you Google it, you'll see that at minimum 1 in 8 kids goes to bed hungry. And what are we spending our money on? So we should have that guilt that I have more than I need and I'm just using it for my own personal enjoyment. So learn to give charity. However, we have to understand some of the subtleties of giving charity as well. Because Gita says, Kale deshe cha patre cha taddanam sattvikam smritam. You can't just give to anybody. You have to give to the right patra. Patra means the recipient of that charity. That also has an effect on how your charity is viewed. Yes, our motivation is, you can say our motivation is half of it. We also don't want to give charity in this way that, okay, I'm giving charity so that I can be recognized. Like some people want their name on the wall of the mandir. I gave $1,000, I gave $10,000. When Shri Kripaluji Maharaj was building Prem Mandir, some big wealthy people of India came to him, like even Ambani, and said, I'll give X amount, X crore rupees, but I want my name over here, I want my father's name over here. महाराज जी ने कहा भाग जाओ यहाँ से, मैं अपने बच्चों से बनवाऊंगा, किसी का नाम नहीं होगा इसमें. That's not how you give charity. The right hand is giving and the left hand shouldn't even know that it's been given. As soon as you claim credit for that and publicly everybody knows, then you already got the phal. Meaning whatever reward you were going to get, you already got it. You got your big name in the newspaper or on the wall of the temple. There's no future reward you're going to get by going to Swarg, or in your next life, whatever you donated, you'll get that. Normally, if you give with a good motivation, and you give anonymously, in your next life, that wealth comes back to you with interest. Only if you don't give daan, then you're made to be poor. But if you give daan without any tamas or rajas motivation, then you get that money back in your next life. You'll be wealthy again in your next life. But then again, you have to donate it. It's a dangerous thing. It's like a hot potato. Oh. Get this wealth away from me, then you get it again in the next life. If you keep it, it's mine, then you're poor in the life after that. So it's a tricky thing, getting wealth. But anyway, we don't want to give with that motivation to be recognized. We want to give with the motivation to help, but not for any kind of name and fame in this life. So the motivation is part of it, but the recipient is also part of it. Let's say there's a criminal, a violent criminal, and he hasn't eaten in days. He's really desperate. He's truly suffering. And you feed him, and he gets strength, and he goes and kills somebody. You also get a percentage of his sin, because your charity enabled his sin. So that type of person, we would call it tamas patra. The recipient was tamas. So giving to that type of recipient is wrong. You don't want to give charity into a tamas patra. Rajas patra, theek hai. That's the type of person who doesn't harm anybody else. Also doesn't help anybody else, so you can't say it's not a sin to give to a Rajas person, but it's not that good of charity either. And then if you give in a Satvik Patra, that's the type of charity that gets used to truly help other people who are in need. So that's the type of charity that we want to give. However, Tamas, Rajas or Sattvic charity, any of those three still keeps you in the bondage of Maya and the cycle of birth and death. Because see, if you give Sattvic charity, that's great. You get peace of mind in this life. You may get to go to Swarg for some time as a reward. And the next time you're born as human, you'll have even more wealth than you donated in this life. But you're still reborn in this world. What if next time when you're reborn as human, you don't give charity? Then in the life after that, you'll be born poor. Then you'll do sins because of the fire of your belly pushing you to fill your belly. Then you'll go to Narak. So what I'm saying is, we've been to Swarg uncountable times, we've been to Narak uncountable times, we've been wealthy uncountable times, we've been poor uncountable times. We've done Sattvic charity uncountable times. We've done all kinds of sins in many lifetimes. So the goal is not just to give Sattvic charity so that we can again be wealthy in our next life. The goal, as you know, is to attain God. So charity can also be a part of the path of God realization. Because there's actually 4 kinds of patra. Tamas, Rajas, Sattvic, I told you. But there's also a divine patra, Divya patra. Of course, God is divine, but how do you give charity to God? God doesn't have a bank account that you can just Zelle him some money. There, I gave divine charity. So we can give charity to the divine saint, someone who is truly nirguna, meaning a God-realized soul is beyond Maya. So that's a divine patra. The God-realized saint is one with Shri Krishna. So giving charity to the saint is accepted as giving charity to Shri Krishna. Now, of course, the question could be, does Krishna need our money? Does the saint need our money? For one, it's already his, right? I told you in the beginning, this is all God's creation. It already belongs to him. We're temporarily holding on to whatever we have in this life, but as soon as we die, what happens to it? It goes back, gets redistributed. It's all God's. अभी इस जन्म में थोड़ा धन हमको दे के बेवकूफ बना दिया भगवान ने कि ये तेरा है, ये उन्हीं का है, तो उन्हीं का सामान उनको देना, इसको दान कहते हैं क्या? हाँ, कहते हैं दान. Even though it already belongs to him, and we're just, it's almost like he's made fools of us by giving us this and making us think it's ours, and we give him his money, his things, and that's called charity? Yes, it is. Because what else do we have to give? The saint can't say, I have no interest in your worldly things. I have God's divine bliss in my heart. What do I need your money for? Bring me something from Golok, then we'll talk. How can we go to Golok? We don't have access to the divine world. We only have material things. So if we're going to do seva, if we're going to do charity, which the Guru, part of the Guru's mission is to teach us, to train us to do charity, to train us to do seva. So with what will we do seva? With what will we do charity? We can only use what's at our disposal. So the Guru says, give what you have. That's fine. He doesn't need it. One time, King Raghu was famous for being very charitable, and he had actually given away everything. You know, he's a divine personality, Sri Ram's great-grandfather. He gave away everything, even the queen's jewelry, earrings, everything was donated. All the thalis, everything, all they had was some earthenware, cups and bowls. That was it. So he was, people knew that the king had done this. How would people not know? So one day Raghu was out walking around and he went to a pond to get a drink of water, and there were some people there, some subjects of his kingdom. They didn't recognize him because he was wearing very simple clothes, and they were chatting amongst themselves, praising their king Raghu. इतने बड़े दानी हैं, पता है रानियों के जेवर तक दान कर दिया. So King Raghu started arguing with them. So what did Raghu come to this world with? Did he bring all of that wealth with him when he came here? Those men were taken aback. What are you talking about? Are you criticizing our king? God even gave his body in his mother's womb. He came nirakar. So what did he donate? Everything he donated was already Bhagwan's. What's the big deal? So in this way, these people are defending Raghu, and Raghu is criticizing Raghu. What dhan did he give? It's nothing. Doesn't mean anything. In the meantime, a couple of his karmacharis, like the part of his administration, royal administration, they had some news, so they came riding in on horseback, and they got down and saluted him. And those men said, they saluted him as if he's the king. You're not King Raghu, are you? Yes, I am. So anyway, what the news was is that Nachiketa, who was a Brahmin boy, his Guruji, although Guruji told him, I don't need any dakshina. Dakshina means you try to give something to your Guru as a token of your appreciation for his instruction, for the knowledge he gave you, for his grace. So Guruji had really said, no, I don't need any dakshina from you. You don't have anything to give anyway. You're a poor, very poor boy. No, Guruji, you have to tell me something. I want to give you some dakshina. So he said, okay, I want 16,000 gold coins. So Nachiketa started going around begging from people, and nobody was giving him anything. 16,000? Are you crazy? Where are you going to get that from? Finally, somebody told him the only one who can help you is Raghu. Go to him, he'll give you 16,000 gold coins. So, if a Brahmin comes and asks the king has to give it. So Raghu sent his treasurer to the treasury and said, well, see, how much do we have there? And the treasurer came back and said, there's nothing, not even a single gold coin. You've already donated all of it. So Raghu said, no problem, get the army ready. And he had Kamdhenu. Kamdhenu is a celestial cow. If you take her milk and put the milk on your eyelids, then you can see Swarg. You can go to Swarg in this body, this physical body. So he said, where are we going? Who are we going to attack with our army? He says, we're going to Swarg and we're going to attack Kuber and take his money. And then we'll donate it to this Brahmin boy. So they're all getting ready. And in the meantime, Naradji goes and he goes to Swarg and finds Kuber sitting there. Sitting there casually enjoying his wealth. Naradji says, you're sitting here lounging around. Do you know Raghu is on his way here? Raghu! Because Raghu, when he was just a boy, he had captured Indra. Indra is Kuber's king. And he was just a boy, he had captured him, and his father Dilip had to say, come now, son, you can't be so mean to, this is Swarg ke Raja, he's the emperor of Swarg, we have to treat him with some respect, let him go now. So imagine when he was just a boy, he did that, and that was Kuber's king, Indra. So now he's full grown and coming with a full army to attack Kuber. Kuber said, what did I do wrong? Why is he coming here? Naradji said, no, you didn't do anything wrong. A Brahmin boy came begging for 16,000 gold coins and he didn't have it, so he's coming here to take it from you. So he instantly just filled Raghu's treasury with gold coins. So then the Karmachari came running and said, oh king, the treasury is full, He said, okay, he told the army to stand down. And then he gave the donation. So what I'm saying is, do you think a saint needs our money? The saint has Krishna in the palm of his hand. What to say of Lakshmi or Kuber? If they need money, they don't need to get it from us. But they're teaching us. You have to give charity. You have to do seva. This is part of the requirement of being a human being. Otherwise, there's a punishment. So you don't want that punishment. So just like you teach your kids, that's how the Guru, the divine saint, teaches us. But the benefit of giving to a saint is much greater than giving to a tamas, rajas, or even sattvic patra. Because when we give to a true saint, that is counted as bhakti. So when we do that, when you do bhakti, when you're doing seva to a saint, it purifies your antahkarana and it develops love for Radha Krishna. So it's part of the path of devotion which leads to the attainment of the ultimate dhan, the ultimate wealth, unlimited divine bliss, unlimited divine love, unlimited divine knowledge, eternal life in the divine abode with a divine body. So we get the absolute divine wealth, free from suffering, free from the cycle of birth and death. All of that simply by doing dhan to a divine personality. So Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has said many times that if I hadn't pressured you all so much to learn to do charity, many of you would not have donated a single cent in your whole life. And then you would have gotten the punishment after when you leave your body. So we should be thankful that the Guru teaches us to do dhan and pressures us to do dhan. We think the opposite. Guruji is asking me for money? We think we want that kind of Guru who gives us this kind of grace that we end up with $1 billion in our bank account. And this Guruji is taking from my bank account. I don't want this kind of Guruji. This means we don't have the correct understanding. See, if we don't, let's say we're giving in the field of tamas, rajas, or sattvic patra, then there's a danger. Did I give to the right person? Is this going to be used for the right thing? And there's no chutti, we can't plead ignorance. That I didn't know, I thought it was going to be used for something good, and the person went and bought a gun and shot somebody. How do I know that? Ignorance doesn't get you off the hook in the court of karma. Just like in this world, if you break a law, can you go before the judge and say, I didn't know about that law? Will the judge let you off? No. Even though there are so many laws and subsections of laws in our country that even the judge has to consult the book. The judge doesn't know all the laws. The lawyer doesn't know all the laws. Yet a common citizen, even an illiterate citizen, is expected to follow each and every law and is held responsible. If they break a law, even unknowingly, they're still punished. So in the same way, we can't say, oh, I didn't know who I was giving to. My motivation was right. Look, if your daughter is now old enough to get married, and I mean, nowadays in America, we don't think of it this way, but in India, we normally say, it's like we're giving our daughter, hum daan kar rahe hain, right? We're doing daan of our daughter to that family where she's going to now live with the husband and all the in-laws. So before doing daan of our daughter, how much time you put in? Interviews, getting to know them, basically shopping around, finding the best family, the best place for your daughter to get married. Then you do daan of your daughter. So why can't we do that kind of research for our charity, for doing daan of our dhan? We should. That's our responsibility. And if we give in the wrong place, then we get the wrong result. So what I'm saying is, if we have been blessed with the association of a divine saint, then it becomes easy. We say, look, I'm giving to you, now it's your responsibility. What do you do with it? I got the benefit of doing daan into a divine patra. Ab meri chutti. आप स्कूल बनाइए, आप मंदिर बनाइए, आप चिकित्सालय बनाइए, वो तो आपके ऊपर है. मैंने तो आपको दे दिया है. So we get the benefit of giving to the divine saint. Then after that, if the saint builds a temple or a hospital or a school or distributes necessary items to needy people, whatever the saint decides to do, he's antaryami. He is one with Shri Krishna, so he knows whom to give to and how to give and what will benefit people, what will really benefit people, not what they think they want or need, but what the saint knows they need. We leave that up to him. So this is the general philosophy of daan, that one way or another we have to do charity. And if we want to get the full benefit of giving charity, then we should even rise above the level of sattvic charity if we get the opportunity. If we've been blessed with the association of a divine saint, we can do daan to that saint and then allow the saint to redistribute that wealth as they see fit. And that becomes part of the path of bhakti, not just something that's going to result in a worldly reward in our future life, but actually result in God realization as part of the path to God. This is in just the philosophy of daan of our Hindu scriptures that we can keep in mind. Since this is Akshaya Tritiya, they say that charity given on this day brings an even greater reward than giving charity on other days. So this is why we consider this philosophy of Dan on this particular day. But of course, it applies to our whole life, and we should seriously consider this and act accordingly. So if anybody has any questions,